From Fort Wayne's first television station, your source for local news, outdoor weather, 24-hour news updates, and sports. You're watching 33 News Nightwatch.
The polls open for the primary in less than 8 hours now. And the big story tonight, total candidate coverage for you. Good evening, I'm Linda Jackson. Thanks for tuning in. We begin tonight not with the candidates, but with the constituents. With just hours to go, the mood of voters tonight is probably the best indication of what the polls will bring tomorrow. We sent Ross Columbo out to gauge it all. Ross?
Linda, you know, it's impossible to predict how the primary will come out, but there are some good indications like the polls. But tonight we went one step farther and went directly to the people to find out how they're feeling at this hour, and not just any people. We came here to the bowels of the city-county building because it's here at meetings like this that people have been sinking their teeth into the government process. This is the community-oriented police program we've heard so much of lately. Tonight, they're seeing firsthand what police dogs can do. But on most nights, they do much more, like talk politics.
There's some exciting candidates out there.
So when one wants to gauge what's on the minds of educated voters, this is a good place to come.
We see apathy just in the neighborhood associations and getting people to come to meetings, and it's citywide.
All of us have seen it as well. Look at the turnout at this recent candidate forum. So low, organizers were embarrassed.
Pretty sad.
Some at this meeting tonight say that's fairly common, but others say just the opposite.
I'd be surprised if it was low on the south side.
Everyone, however, seemed to agree on the issues. Crime seemed to be of top concern.
I think the issue of crime, the involvement of the police in the neighborhoods with the liaison officers, and we have a lot of vandalism and graffiti in our end of town.
It's community-oriented policing and issues such as that, reduction of crime.
But whether anyone turns out tomorrow to vote with candidates that will take action on those things, well, that still seems to be up in the air tonight. And if you think those people tonight weren't a good example of the feelings around town, think about this. Candidates have been going out of their way to speak to these groups, like the neighborhood associations or partnerships, because, Linda, they know exactly how much those votes mean.
They sure do. Thanks, that's interesting. Thanks,
Sure.
Ross. Well, now the candidates tonight for mayor, 4 people are running for the Democratic nomination. Les Crosby, a chef and preacher; Thomas Essex, Jr., a lawyer and Wayne Township trustee; John Fall works for Fort Wayne newspapers; and Famius Williams, a financial planner for Diversified Financial Systems. And running on the GOP side, incumbent Mayor Paul Helmke, Terrence Walker, a custodian for Fort Wayne Community Schools, and John C. Widman, a mechanic for the city of Fort Wayne. One city council at-large candidate had to redo some of his campaign work. Elvis Netterville is a Republican running for an at-large seat. You may have seen his signs, or maybe not. You see, he says a man and a woman have been seen in a maroon van getting out and taking his campaign signs from different locations all over the city. For Netterville, it's created confusion.
People wondering if we are still in this race, and what I want to say is that we are very much still in this race. And it's unfortunate that these kind of dirty tricks are still in the political process.
Netterville says that he expects some vandalism in a campaign, but never expected it to be so personal. He's trying to replace all the signs that have been taken. Well, he spent 32 years in politics in the small town of Woodburn, and Mayor Herb Romer has some advice for politicians tonight. Romer says, tell them like it is. The 73-year-old mayor will seek a 9th term as mayor tomorrow. Romer says he decided to run for mayor back in 1963 because he looked around and he says he didn't like what he saw. The polls open early tomorrow morning at 6. Allen County Board of Elections says the number of registered voters this year is up by about 4,000. They attribute that to both the motor voter law and the annexation of St. Joe Township. So get out and vote. We urge you and to watch your vote count here on the News Watch. Tune in to TV 33 for complete election results tomorrow night. Boasting their successes, state Democrat and Republican leaders in town today. For the first time in nearly a decade, the Indiana General Assembly adjourned for the year without a special session. The legislature passed a state budget which enabled them to also pass 2 tax-cutting bills. Governor Evan Bayh signed a bill that cuts the amount of money paid for license plates and registration in half. By also signed a bill that will save $600 million in property taxes. Both parties agreed. Lots of good came from this year's session.
Our budget is balanced, making us the envy of not only the federal government, but many other states, and we will have the largest surplus in Indiana's history, enabling us to put into place these historic tax cuts for Hoosier taxpayers.
I think it was a historic session and one which I was extremely proud to participate in. We started the session with a contract with Indiana in our House of Representatives. We had made 10 commitments, 10 promises to the people of the state of Indiana. We enacted all 10 of those pieces of legislation in the House.
The new state budget will save Indiana taxpayers more than $2 billion. The Fort Wayne school system will take a closer look at suspensions. It all comes after a new study shows that black students are more likely to be punished than white students. 29% of all 6th through 12th grade students were suspended during the 1993-94 school year. Black students were suspended an average of 2.1 days per infraction, compared to 1.8 days for white students. The school says the study will not be taken lightly. A North Carolina trucker indicted tonight after confessing to killing 3 women, including a Bloomington woman. Sean Patrick Goebel was indicted on first-degree murder charges in the death of a Columbus, Ohio woman. Authorities from 10 different states want to question Goebel on a dozen different interstate killings. Police still searching tonight for a suspect in what appeared to be a random killing last Friday. Someone shot 25-year-old Shannon Lutz 5 times in the chest in her driveway. She was returning from a church youth group outing late Friday. Neighbors heard shots, but they didn't call police. Her husband found her later.
I believe it has to start in our neighborhoods. And if we don't respond whenever we think something suspicious is going on, we've got to respond. I mean, in this instance, it may not have done any good, but at least we should have tried.
Police think someone may have been trying to rob Lutz. They apparently have no suspects tonight. A New Haven woman who allegedly ran down her husband with a rental truck is charged with murder. 38-year-old Edna Mae Sorrell, the third lady in line here, is being held without bond tonight. Police say Sorrell left the scene before officers caught up with her. Neighbors say Clifton Sorrell was trying to stop his wife from leaving with their 3 children. They say the children were in the truck at the time. The 4-year-long emotional tug-of-war over baby Richard ended in Chicago yesterday. The 4-year-old child was finally turned over to his biological father Sunday afternoon. It was the first meeting ever between the two. Charlie Wojciechowski reports.
Mom. Yesterday, with his biological parents at his side, the 4-year-old known as Baby Richard made his first tentative steps toward his new home in Mokina. Today, new no trespassing signs guard the driveways to that apartment complex, and Otakar Kirchner is speaking to the media only through the building's intercom system.
Everything is perfect, but I don't have a comment. We would like to have our privacy finally after these 4 years. I'm sorry, guys, but my attorney will take your comments for us and he'll bring the statements, okay?
How's Richard doing today?
Just good. He's playing, that's all.
But Kirchner's own neighbors say they're not sure if the abrupt transfer, played out yesterday in front of Richard's adoptive parents' home, was the right thing to do.
I don't think it's good at all because, basically you're talking about a human being here, not a possession.
The Kirchner's attorney says the fear of such a scene almost kept his clients from going through with the transfer. But now both Otto and Daniela are relieved it's over.
They're ecstatic. I mean, how could you not be happy? I mean, for him, I mean, the child that he fought so hard for 4 years in the courts, he now has. And they're together, and they're starting to get to know each other.
After one day, one crying episode, and at least one phone call to his adoptive parents in Schaumburg, Heinemann says his psychologists say the transfer is going better than expected.
Just because he was laughing and giggling that all is well, in the land of Oz. There's still, there's a lot of work to be done, but it was a good sign to see that there was at least this interaction.
Meteorologist Greg Shoup in now with a quick check of the forecast. Greg?
Well, it looks like the rain is going to go and maybe some sunshine tomorrow, but we've kind of got some ups and downs in the forecast. Starting out, we could see some sprinkles or light drizzle in the morning. Temperatures in the lower 40s. Here's our Ponderosa Steakhouse weather school question for tonight. The time it takes for the sun's energy to reach Earth is about 2, 8, or 15 minutes. We'll have the answer coming up as well as the forecast, Linda.
Thanks, Greg. And tonight's Down to Earth is Fort Wayne's water system changing. We'll fill you in. Also tonight, the evidence mounting in the Oklahoma City bombing case. We'll have the story in your world tonight.
It's time for the Hoosier Lottery's Daily 3 and Daily 4 games. Here's Paula Ingram.
Good evening, everyone. Let's play Daily 3, where you could win up to $500 for an exact match of tonight's winning number. The first digit in Daily 3 is 5. The second is 8. And the third is 9. That makes tonight's Daily 3 number 589. And now let's play Daily 4, where an exact match of tonight's winning number can earn you up to $5,000. Our first digit is 3. The second is 1. The third is 7. And the last digit is 7. That makes tonight's Daily 4 number 3177. During the week ending April 29th, Daily 3 and 4 players won more than $364,000. Congratulations to all of you lucky winners.
From your official lottery station, here are tonight's Ohio Lotto results. Count on them at this time each night during 33 News. Closed captioning is a community service of WKJG-TV.
There once was a burger of steak that only some people could make. I'm, of course, one of them, and I make a ton of them, except when I'm off on my break.
These are our 100% recyclable containers.
We don't mind letting our competition see how we make our milkshakes. We don't think they can do it.
Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers.
A unique, not-for-profit electric company whose sole beneficiary will be the people. One they will own, offering one of the lowest electric rates, service on the leading edge of technology, and consumer-owner refunds whenever there's a profit.
There's an advantage to owning your own electric company. Northeastern, REMC.
We're going all the way to the West Coast tonight to show you some of the rains there. This is Southern California. Who said it never rains in Southern California? This is a fast-moving weather system which is going to be in our area by the middle and end of the week. And we'll tell you more about this fast-moving jet stream. And, of course, the wind's still prevalent outside as well. 50 degrees our current temperature, 48% the relative humidity. Still those northeast winds at 17, gusting to 23 with steady barometric pressure. Our high today, a measly old 54 degrees. The low overnight at 41, 66 and 44 are the normal temperatures, and 88 and 27 are the record setters. Going to take a look at 33 live National Weather Service radar and show you the 60-mile scan here and some of the showers. We've been watching this all night. What's happened is these showers have come close to the Fort Wayne area, but they continue to move eastward. Now we're going to zoom out and show you our Super Doppler. These are those NEXRAD Doppler sites that you hear so much about, those Weather Service NEXRAD Doppler sites. Let's zoom out and show you those right now if we could. And we are seeing the showers that are starting to move off to the east. Now, this has been the trend throughout the day, along with this low pressure center that's continued to move off towards the east coast, and these rain showers are kind of following that. It just looks like we're going to be, like we said at 6 o'clock, just on the northern edge of that weather system. That's going to produce the possibility of some sprinkles or light drizzle, and that is all we're going to see out of this. So good news for farmers that really want to get out in the field and plant some of those crops now. We really don't need the rain, as we had a very, very wet April. So here's what it looks like then as this low pressure center continues to move off to the east, but we still have some oncoming low pressure centers off the coast. The one we talked about off California. Look at what's happening there as we see basically this system kind of pushing the clouds forward, and it continues to move on an incredibly fast jet stream pattern. So we're going to see this system take about a day and a half to get here,